All right, everybody. Case study number one here, and I want to show you real quick, just kind of step-by-step process of everything that I've been talking to about up to this point, and where it all comes into play in a live campaign, a case study that I had for you, and then just take you through the nitty-gritty on this thing and see it in action. So, as you can see, this is one of my better shirts. 1680 were sold on the initial campaign. Ended up selling over 3,200 of these in total. And I want to just wanted to show you this. It's been beaten to death in the niche and by a lot of the copycats afterwards, so I'm not really worried about here design. But I want to show you the campaign itself. So let's go over here. And this doesn't show you a whole lot, right? This only shows you a little bit of here. And let's kind of look at this at the surface level, and then we'll go in a little deeper. As you can see, I had the women mobile and the women desktop split out, so I could figure out which one's working. You can see that they ended up spinning not too far away from each other. Obviously, I didn't go after men in this segment. This was it looked really well on a female shirt, and nurses are dominated by females. So I started there, and I really didn't go into the men whatsoever. To the next level down, let's go ahead and look at the ads. You could see that, closing this up, I had each one of my ads. Towards the end, this was the only one that was running, and it was converting very well. So let's pop this open. These interests were all found using the method that I showed you. This is nothing different from what I showed you. A 25 and above, 34, just to 34. That's just as I showed you. It's a woman mobile. And the ad set for women desktop looks just like this. So you can see some of these were off, and one of them was on. The reason for that is that as I'm monitoring this day to day, I'm killing off ads that aren't giving me a solid ROI. So you see that this one killed when it was giving me almost an 11% click-through rate. That's great, but if they're not giving me the ROI on the back end, like I told you, there's several metrics to determine if you keep an ad going or not, and one of which, and the main one, is ROI. So regardless if you have a good PPE cost that's in that range of letting it run, and it's very solid click-through rate, the main concern is ROI. So let's dive into our ad. It's our ads reporting, and we'll break it down into the metrics that we want to focus on, right? Sorry, let's get back that. If this is new to you, or if this is confusing to you, please go back to the other videos and revisit. So on day one, you can see that this thing was on fire. Sold 70 shirts for 158 bucks. I was getting $13 per shirt. And so that's in the $700 to $800 range, a little bit more actually. That's $910 for 158 bucks. So this was on fire. Now, this actually, you can see I'd spent that much on day one. I was scaling because when I was hitting in the morning, it was hitting hard. And what I mean by when I say that is that it was converting at a very rapid pace. So my $25 tests got boosted up to $75 test on each ad set, or a little bit more than that. And that ended up spending $158 on the day one. But I converted 70 shirts. So let's step through and look at everything here. Now, I talked about cost per engagement. Obviously, the average is very low. Cost per action is very low. And as I started to scale, what you'll get to see is how this campaign starts to turn. So on day two, still a very solid cost per action. Very solid cost per action on conversion. And we'll continue to run. Also note here that see if I do this. So of my mobile ads for women, look at the spend so far. See how two shirts dominate, or two ads dominate here, and the other ones aren't really getting that much traffic. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're hoping for. That's the reason that we clump multiple ads into an ad set, just as they do with like ads. You're making Facebook pick the winner, and they're going to know better than anybody. So let's keep running. You can see the cost per action is going up on both right now for engagement and conversion. Still not at a level though that I would kill. See, we have a 12 cent here, but we haven't spent that much on the ad. 14 cent, but nothing on the ad. And we'll continue. So there I scaled very hard, right? Let's make sure that I am looking at just one day. So there I scaled very hard. And you can start to see that my cost per action has gone up. So once this campaign, and this is almost the final day here, so I believe Monday is the final day. This is the last day, so you see that the cost per action is kind of gone. I'm starting to burn through the audience, push really hard on this. I've gone down on total amount spent per day, but let's go ahead and pull in the entire campaign. And you can see that I spent $10,000 on this campaign, and the total cost per action, average cost per action throughout the entire campaign was $8.66. So when looking at this, you can see that several ads dominated, but there was only 1,250 conversions, right, that the pixel fired. Now, not every pixel is going to fire, but I had 1680 shirts sold. So that's 430 either misfires, which I don't think so, or viral shares that led to sales. So important thing to note here is that's exactly why we monitor the PPE cost. Because if you're monitoring the PPE cost, you can stay with good shirts that are maybe their cost per conversions, good ads, maybe their cost per conversion is high and in the dangerous zone, but when you're scaled out to the max and you're still breaking even on your ads, but your viral shares are just pouring in and sales are just coming in, you can leave it on as long as you are tracking the data appropriately like we are here today. So that's also what I wanted to show you. Another thing is that, yes, 1680 is good, but remember when I said that I sold about 3,200 of these. So I want to go ahead and show you. Once I had this all done, you can see that I had honed in on the right ads. I was scaled appropriately. And when you come over here, you can see that I went 1680, 588, 309, and a couple relaunches and some other tests into some other ones. Some that didn't work out. Other traffic sources, another 325, another 250. So all adding up all those together, I ended up selling about 3,250 of this off the same targeting that I had prior in this original campaign, and just let it run. And if you track this, you can see 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago. So I did that over 3 months, making tons and tons of money this entire time. If you add all that up, you can see that this was a very, very profitable campaign for me over a long course of time. So that's what I wanted to show you in case study number 1. And looking again, finally, at that interests. These are one of the niches that we've gone into using the same methods that I showed you before, and we were able to find tons of interest for us to go after that we knew had a very high affinity and that were very correlated with our nursing interests. Okay? So thank you very much. That's been case study number 1, and I will see you in the next video.